Journeys of impact. Extraordinary people, extraordinary places, extraordinary change. This isn't just a show, it's a movement in motion. Join Lori as she travels beyond the expected to meet the changemakers, dreamers, and doers who are transforming communities around the world and right in their own backyards. From powerful conversations to unforgettable adventures, every episode is packed with heart, humor, and moments that stay with you long after the journey ends. This is where travel meets purpose, where storytelling sparks action, and where creativity turns ideas into real impact. Through candid interviews, immersive local experiences, and playful challenges, Journeys of Impact brings you closer to the people and places, proving that change doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be real. You'll laugh, you'll reflect, you'll be inspired to see the world and your role in it differently. Because extraordinary change starts with one bold idea, one courageous step, and one ripple that grows into something bigger than we ever imagined. Welcome, your host, Lori McDowell.
Hi everyone, it's Lori McDowell here, and welcome to the second episode of Journeys of Impact, Extraordinary People, Extraordinary Places, Extraordinary Change. For this episode, we're in Long Beach, California, and we are here because a group of us are ready to embark on the Marketers Cruise tomorrow. So this episode is really about getting a voyage started, networking, vision, and getting ready for the voyage ahead. I'm really excited to have my guest here today. My guest on this episode is Mona Das. Mona is one of my favorite people. I met Mona about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and Mona is amazing. She is one of the most powerful, impactful women I know.
Aww.
And she is definitely a person that makes a difference in the world. She's a U.S. Senator from the state of Washington, and does amazing things. So hi, Mona.
Hi.
So
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. So tell us a little bit about you and your experience and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. Well, my story starts with my family moving to America. We came to America with $6 when I was 8 months old. And so for me to go from $6 to senator is quite a windy, bendy, it's not a straight line. It's a very circuitous
Must have been
route.
quite a journey.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I really had to overcome the stereotypes of my own family who, growing up Indian, half my family are doctors, the other half are engineers. So for me to buck the mold and not do that either profession as a start to my career and then to end up in politics, my family didn't, to be honest, they didn't really believe in me or that I could do it. And I remember one very, very deliberate conversation with my father where he was like, I've been reading about your race. There's no way you can win. And he was like, and I didn't grow up with shame. That's not a very Indian trait to be shameful. And he was like, you're bringing shame to the family. You're not going to lose. You're not going to win. And which, of course, if anyone knows me for 5 seconds,
yes,
the best way to get me to
all
do
the
anything.
Impetus. Maybe your dad knew you well enough that he knew that would motivate you to win.
We won't give him that credit.
We'll
right. But if you want me to do anything, the best way to do is to tell me that I can't do it. And so then I work really hard to make it happen. And so not only did I win, but I actually flipped a seat, which in politics is really difficult. You're flipping a seat from one party. It was that way for 8 years, and then I flipped it to my party is the Democratic Party, so I flipped it from Republican to Democrat. And I did that very, very carefully, very calculated. My campaign knocked on 30,000 doors, which means you're actually knocking on doors and waiting for people to answer and then, talking to them about the race. And I knocked on personally by myself 8,000 doors.
Wow.
And the sort of adage in the industry is if you knock on 10,000 doors, you win. So on election night, I was really nervous because I didn't hit the 10,000. So I really didn't, it wasn't a foregone conclusion that I was going to win. And so I did. And Washington state elections they're mail-in ballots. We actually mail in our ballots. So I didn't actually, from a Tuesday election, I didn't actually win until Friday.
Oh, wow.
So it was, every day was like this, like, sort of like
Watching
nail biting.
yeah. That's exciting. So you did some amazing things when you were in the Senate.
Yeah.
I know you helped ban plastics.
Yeah.
And really made a difference there.
Yeah.
You have a story that I've heard before.
Uh-huh.
I'd love to share about your office in the Senate. Can
Oh,
you share that story?
Yeah, see, I'm already crying. This one always brings me to tears, but when I had sort of like had a vision to run for office, I just never thought it was possible. No one in my family had ever done it. I didn't know anyone who had done it. And so I had this vision in the shower. I always ask, like, do you do your best thinking in the shower? And I definitely do. And I popped out of the shower one time. I was visiting my brother, and I was like, I'm going to be a senator. And we just laughed because it was hilarious. Like, my family, didn't make any sense. And so I just kind of had that, I call it a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. And it was this goal that I had that was sort of like always out in the distance. I put it on a shelf like many of our crazy ideas. And sometimes I would bring it down, I would dust it off. It still didn't make any sense. I'd put it back on the shelf, and there it would sit for years. And then one day I was walking my dog Cleveland, who, believe it or not, has more energy than I do. And if we are walking and I stop for any reason, to see someone, to cross the street, whatever, he is barking, pulling, like, let's go, let's go. And so I literally saw a sign, but this was a yard sign. And it said, Pramila Jayapal for Senate. And I knew 4 things looking at that sign. I knew, 1, I knew she was Indian. 2nd, I knew she was a woman. 3rd, I saw that it said senator, which was my dream. And 4th, and most importantly, I knew if she could do it, I could do it. And that kind of is what gave me the courage to even dream about running. And so fast forward, as I mentioned, all of the things that we did to win, mainly knocking on doors and showing up and giving the right message at the right time. This was 2018, so the country was in a little bit of a turbulent place. Yeah. If you might remember what happened in November of 2016, like, this was an impetus. And so Democrats were winning across the country, women were winning, folks of color were winning, people just wanted different and change. And so I got to Olympia, which is our state capital in Washington, and I was there about 2 weeks. And my assistant and I, my chief of staff, we got to pick office. There were 6 of us new people. So there were 6 offices to choose from. We looked at them all. And there was one particular office. It was the smallest one, but it had a view of the dome, which Washington State Capitol looks like the DC Capitol, has a dome, Senate on the left, House on the right. And so we picked that office because it had the view, and it was just breathtaking. I mean, you're just like right up close to the Capitol building, the dome. And, we knew there were going to be like really, really hard days when we ran. And so we wanted to make sure that we had a visual of what we were fighting for. The people that took us to the house, the people's house, and, that we were fighting for them on behalf of them. And as an immigrant myself, I'm fighting for immigrant communities because there were 148 languages spoken in my district, which means they're immigrants, fresh, new immigrants right off, the boat or the plane or whatever. And they need somebody to be advocating for them, right? And so, I felt very special being in that particular office. And so we were there for about 2 weeks, and somebody came in and was like, oh, did you know that this was Pramila Jayapal's old office? Because before she went to U.S. Congress, she was a state senator in the state of Washington. And we actually had her actual office.
That story gives me
goosebumps.
Me too.
Always brings me tears.
Things just happen for the right reason. Yeah. I love the story of your, it's so motivating that you come up with this idea. And that's one of the things that I believe is possible for all people. Yeah. They come up with this idea, this extraordinary, this BHAG, this something they can do, and they can do it. And I think we can all do it if we just believe it. We set our mind to it. We set that intention.
You have to make the decision, and then you have to work at it every day.
Right.
And you have to be okay with people not thinking they can do it, not thinking you can do it, not believing in you, laughing at you, telling you to quit, whatever. I mean, you think of any Olympic star or any, athlete or anyone,
lots of ups and downs.
Right. There's lots of ups and downs, but you have to believe in it every day, and you have to believe in it with blinders on. And I have discovered that when most people tell you you can't do something, they're telling you that they can't do it. And if you just remember that you can literally do anything you set your mind to. you might just have to adjust your timeline. That's what I've learned, is that, maybe what's funny, and I don't tell this story as often, that was my second time running. I initially ran for Congress, U.S. Congress, and that didn't work out, which we won't go into now. But so I took a few months break and licked my wounds and, sort of healed my ego a little bit. And then I decided to run again 3 months later. So I won in the same cycle. I got inaugurated or sworn in the same month and year I would have if I had gotten into federal Congress. And I will tell you, once you're in federal Congress, you kind of can't leave. So I'm glad that I was able to leave after 4 years, do what I did. As Lori mentioned, I banned plastic bags, I banned styrofoam, and I banned all single-use plastics for the state of Washington. And now my bill is being duplicated in about 20 to 25 different states. So the legacy that I'm leaving is more of a plastic-free society. And Lori and I were just in Honduras, and we saw what happens when you don't ban these things.
Plastic everywhere.
We went and did a beach cleanup, and after 20 minutes or 30 minutes we were there, it was so hot. We collected 15 bags of garbage, and it's all
almost
plastic.
all plastic. Yeah. Plastic bottles, plastic things that fall off boats.
Yeah, razors and fins and
toothbrushes. It's like, how do you lose your toothbrush? You need that. Keep your toothbrush if you're on the beach or on a boat. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting. We're in California, which I love the fact that you go to the airport and you can't buy plastic bottles. They're all in metal. Even in our room, we have these metal water bottles in the room. Although it's interesting, we have metal water bottles in the room, yet they handed us a plastic bottle at the front desk. So I'm quite not sure about that one. A little bit strange, but at least they're making a step in the right direction. So Mona and I are here along with probably 400 other entrepreneurs. 450. Yeah. Some of them are families, but they're mostly business owners. And we're embarking on a journey called the Marketer's Cruise. We will be doing more episodes from the Marketer's Cruise, but this is the day before. We came here this morning and we did this mastermind with about 35 people in it. Amazing mastermind, and it gave me some amazing ideas. I know you've got some amazing ideas. And, people, when I tell people I'm going on a business cruise, sometimes they kind of laugh like, oh yeah, right. Business. You're going to, but it's so important to get face to face with people, to have these connections, to get to know people, to build these relationships. And so tell me a little bit about, how did you find today?
Today was great. And one of the things I always say about this cruise, it's like a year's worth of networking in a week. And, there's so many people from all different walks of life, different parts of the world. It's international. We just met someone in the lobby from Germany.
Right.
There are people come from all over the world. Someone's coming from Slovenia. Someone's coming from Africa. There's people from everywhere.
Canadians.
And so if you are, there's so many Canadians, if you want an international business, or as me, as a digital nomad, I love meeting people from around the world because then I can go visit them and stay with them and really expand your network in a way that you can't do normal everyday life. And so for me, not only do I get ideas and get connections and new clients, but I also get new relationships to build on. And this year I'm excited because there's so many people that I didn't connect with over the last year, but they're on the cruise again. So now I can spend some more time getting to know them, find out what they're up to, see what I can. I come to these things by leading with service, and I have a large network and a large database and a very large contact list. And so if I can help someone, if I lead with service, that's how I try to approach these things, then eventually somebody else will provide me. It might not be the one-on-one exchange with the person I'm talking to, but somebody else. Giving. If everyone is giving, then
everyone will receive.
Then everyone will receive.
It really is a beautiful thing. And I saw people this morning that I hadn't seen since last year on the cruise. And, we connected last year superficially, said hello, but really didn't get to know each other. And now, like you said, we'll have a chance to do that again.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see some people that I did develop relationships with and haven't, maybe even we worked together, but we talked on the phone or on Zoom, but we haven't seen it. It is such a great way to come together. I love retreats. Retreats are what I do. And in a way, this cruise it's almost like a 450 person retreat, but it has a lot of little mega retreats in it, like the shore excursions. Well, today's mastermind was a group of 35 people getting together, getting to know each other. And even within that, we broke up into groups of about 10 or 12, really got to know each other and work. And
And
then,
the whole point is that you can be someone else's reason for coming. You don't know who you're going to meet or what kind of conversation you're going to have. And maybe that person is the person you've been looking for to unlock a door or an idea or funding or client base or whatever. And you just really don't know who you're going to meet. And if you are open and honest and in gratitude and in giving mode, then somebody will be that to you. And if I'm trying to give to you and you're trying to give to me, that's a win-win
it's
for everybody.
perfect. Yeah, that's the kind of relationships you want.
Yeah.
The
And you
balance,
do,
you're
there's-
in fair exchange at that point,
Yeah.
so you're not worried about
Yeah.
feeling bad or over,
Yeah.
or your value. It really does make everything easier. Yeah, I was really excited this morning. There's a woman named Ann Gordon who, for the last couple of years, everybody kept telling me, you should meet Ann Gordon. You should meet Ann Gordon. And we met, and it was like we had this instant connection where we've got all these big plans to work together. And that happened because I came here. You know, for 2 years, we just never crossed paths. And, we tried to schedule Zoom calls. It never worked. So that was really exciting. So I'm happy this meeting people, this launching. It's kind of the journey before the journey.
Yeah.
And I love that idea. But I know you have a big journey coming. Part of Mastermind is you kind of talk about what you want to do and what your big dreams are and how you need help.
My new BHAG.
Your new BHAG, and it's a big one, and it's a really exciting one. I'm excited about it for you. I'm excited about it for me. I'm excited about it for the world.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the first thing I want to say is one of the things about the Marketers Cruise I think that makes it unique is all 450 people have an opportunity to give a 30-second intro of themselves. They can say whatever they want. They just get 30 seconds. And so in that 30 seconds, in that 30 seconds, you get to hear what they want you to know about them. And then you decide whether or not you want to seek them out and spend more time with them. Right. And there's so many different opportunities to mastermind. Somebody does a sunrise breakfast. Somebody else will do pizza and profits at night. And then there's events during the day.
Very little time to sleep.
Yes. You can sleep when you're dead, right? And so for me, my idea actually does stem from the Marketers Cruise from last year. I met somebody who has bigger dreams than I do. And we had this conversation with another person who took our dreams and exploded them and started talking about billions instead of millions. Mm. And I realized that because I'm such a prolific fundraiser, that I am really passionate about women and women entrepreneurs. Oh, I don't have my water up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's right inside. Oopsies.
Mona will be right back because this is worth waiting for. But while we're waiting, I do want to tell you we are in beautiful Long Beach. We've got this bamboo behind us. This is outside my room. Isn't that incredible? I'm staying at the Maya Hotel. And I've never been to this hotel before, but such a beautiful setting. I'm looking out over the harbor. I can see Catalina in the background and the rest of California. So it is a beautiful setting.
Is that what that is? That's Catalina.
I think that's Catalina.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so my big idea is to raise $1 billion with a B from generous donors and entrepreneurs and, generous sponsors, if you will. People who want to see the world in a better place than it is currently, and give that money as a grant to women entrepreneurs who are making deep impact in the world. And that can be a variety of ways. We need impact in every sector, in every part of the world to make all the boats rise. Because when we rise together. And the difference I find with women is women bring others along. They bring along kids, they bring along families, they bring along men, they bring along older folks and younger folks. And I do see when women rise, all boats tend to rise. And I'm not saying that men can't do that. I'm just saying that women do it differently. Mm-hmm. And so when I raise this money and be able to give it to women, then those women will be in cohort with each other. What I find about being a woman entrepreneur at certain levels is you don't have anyone to talk to. You get to the top, it's kind of lonely up there. And so this is what I love about masterminding. It's other women entrepreneurs that you want to spend time with, that you want to share in your collective abundance and gratitude. And so I believe these women that we will find to give these grants to will be able to support each other as they all rise. And these donors who aren't necessarily looking for ROI, who aren't looking for the 10x return, which is what's broken about current funding models, current investor models,
Right.
is that they're always looking for a return.
Right.
So
what am I getting for my money?
They only invest in businesses that they can see a 10x return, which means they give money to 1,000 businesses for the one unicorn. In this case, we will give money to 1,000 women, but we will watch all of them rise.
All of them rise. I love that.
And the difference is not only because what happens is a lot of times they give you the money and then they just coach you on business. I want to coach these women on mental mindset, removing past traumas, and also, giving them that community that I talked about. But how do we treat the woman holistically? Because people are in entrepreneurship for different reasons. They want to make impact for different reasons. So what if we treated the woman holistically and helped ease her, whatever is going on with her life? I mean, maybe she's supporting a spouse, or maybe she's supporting a parent or children, right? Like, it all comes into play because we bring ourselves to work as a whole, not parts. You don't leave part of you in the bedroom and the other part of you in front of Zoom. You bring your whole self to work. Right. And how do we make work more holistic for these women who are making deep impact? And a lot of impact work is futuristic. It's benevolent. It's unseen, unheard. And it's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's outside of the box.
Yeah.
And so a lot of folks don't get what we're trying to do. I mean, even just what I'm saying, I'm going to raise $1 billion to give each woman $1 million is...
Yeah, it's not typical.
It's not typical. Different. And I'm not looking for a return. I'm not looking to 10x the business, and I'm not looking to take a 30% piece of what you're bringing in, right, which means that you're only making 70%.
Well,
right?
And you're also, I love this because I talk a lot about the ripple effect. And this truly is the ripple effect for a number of reasons. I mean, first, these women, like you, when you were running for the Senate, when you saw that sign, you had someone to look up to who had done it ahead of you. And many women, I mean, we see women like, Kendra Scott, Sarah Blakely, who are heart-centered women who've done well. And we
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, they're there. But we still see them so far away.
Yeah.
We're not, I don't have Taylor Swift's talent, so I definitely couldn't. But we don't see them as like that necessarily. We can do that. And this actually gives those women a chance to see, I could do that.
Yeah.
And when one woman sees that, and she moves up, and another, and then those ripples are going places we don't even imagine. I mean, this thing you want to do, I don't know if you have a name for it yet, but the impact is
Women Impact Fund or something. Yeah, something like that.
It's bigger than us. It's bigger than our life. It could affect you say $1 billion and $1 million. That's 1,000 women.
Yeah.
But those 1,000 women could each affect another 1,000 women.
Right. And in their communities. I mean, think of a African village. What I know as I travel full time for the last 2.5 years. I've been to 50 some countries and 46 states. What I know and what I see is women are holding up communities around the globe and not getting the credit for it, or paid for that matter. And they are the ones that are like literally keeping things together. Like they always say, if you want something done, give it to a busy soccer mom or a pissed off soccer mom, because they know how to get stuff done. And so those are the women that I want to support. And, what will happen from this is if I'm lifting up Lori, then Lori's lifting up someone else, and then Lori's friend is lifting up, we'll just continue to, fund this effort by bringing in so many women that will want to give back to the fund. I believe it's not required, but I think
if I get a grant and then I am successful and I get to the point where I can then donate back.
That's right.
There's no question. I mean, I think most women, and even and a lot of men will do the same. I think there are men who will support your cause. The right men, it's circular, and it helps everyone. And I think that's so important because we all have the ability to do so much more than we give ourselves credit for. And when you see someone doing it and someone supporting you and help you, it makes it so much easier.
Especially
and so
if it's
much
a collective.
possible.
Like these big donors, they don't know women like Lori or me, for example, for that matter. And so if I say to them, look, here's who you're supporting. We've already got the grant on the website. It's monadas.org/grant. And so there are women who've already applied. So I will be able to go to these donors and say, these aren't theoretical women. These are actual women. Here's their 90-second video. Here's what they're going to bring to the world. And I had one woman who is an amazing energetic healer. And that's the other thing we want to do is we want to work with women to help their traumas, right? And to like get themselves out of their own way. What I find with my trajectory is every time I've ascended to the next level, I have to break through another trauma from childhood, from, you know, being married, from whatever. There's a trauma there that's keeping me stuck. And so in order to rise above that, you need these trauma healers. And, you know, maybe it's a sound therapy, maybe it's talk therapy, maybe it's movement therapy, like maybe it's a retreat outside of the country where you're away from your family and your friends and your laundry piling up, whatever. And so the idea is that not only do we give these women this support, this trauma support, trauma-centered healing, but we give them also this community of women to surround themselves with so that they can ascend together. And the most important part is that we give the donors and the investors people that they never would have found who are doing beautiful, great work. And we already have these people in our database, and their 90-second videos are going to sell this program for us, because these are real women solving. Oh, I know what I was going to say. One woman that I talked to was like, because of the questions you asked and the way you asked them, she dreamed a bigger dream. She took what she was doing and said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this $1 million? And so she told me, like, thank you, because even if I don't get the money from you, I now have a bigger dream.
I love that idea of a bigger dream. And I had that realization recently where I started my business. I always said, oh yeah, I'm going to make 250,000. I'm going to make 500,000. And I realized I was setting my sights based on what I can envision, what I can see a path through. And I realized that was backwards. I need to set my vision, and the path will come. The path will come there. And I'm like, okay, I want a multi-million-dollar business. I want a business so big that I make a huge impact, that money's not something I even think about, and I can give it away and I can put it towards good things. And now I feel like, okay, there's a path. I don't know exactly what it is, but I see little pieces of it, and it'll come. And I think so many women, we set our sights based on what we know, what we think we can do, and men too, but men, a lot of women especially, we tend to, you know, in corporate world, if we apply for a job, we have to have 100% of the qualifications. A man applies with like 30.
Correct.
So we definitely require a lot, but we don't see that big picture. And I know, I love that idea, and I think that's so important, but I know at the mastermind today, you got a little more talk about too, about how this can benefit the donors.
Yeah, I mean, I think the donors, you know, the ones that are heart-centered, they don't know each other. And I think one of the ideas that we got was like, what if we took them on a retreat so that they could, you know, even pool their money together in a different way. They could, you know, I think a lot of them are lonely. I mean, like I talked about, like how lonely it is on the top. I mean, if, you know, in our entire society, and I'm speaking of American society mostly, is about money. And the more money you have, the more powerful you are. The more money you have, the more things you can have, and the people that you can surround yourself with, whatever. But if you're out there and you are wealthy and maybe you didn't earn it, maybe it was inherited, what is your sense of purpose? Like, how can you collectively pool your money with someone else so that you can, you know, 1 + 1 = 11, which we heard a lot of today, right? So how do we make our 1 + 1 = 11 for the world? Because what I know, and the reason I know this will work is because every industry is suffering. Every country is suffering. Every community is suffering. The suffering is getting loud. And what's happening in Iran right now, what's happening in Minnesota right now, what's happening in LA and Phoenix, I mean, in major cities around the globe, people are at a breaking point. And I think, you know, because I've spoken to a lot of Iranians who are like, well, we don't have anything to lose. We don't have any jobs. We have no money. We have no food. And we're losing our places to live. So they're, you know, at the Capitol raising heck because they don't have anything to lose. And I don't want to get to that point.
No.
And I think, you know, there's plenty of money, right? Like there's abundance all around us. I recently chatted with someone who was like, we have infinite number of cells. So we are already abundant. The number of cells that make up our body, for me to speak and look at the camera and to see the camera and to have the camera, is infinite amounts of cells. So we're already in abundance. And so abundance is a mindset, and a philosophy.
Mindset.
And so if you are in abundant, like I hit the easy button. I told Lori this earlier today. I literally decided, why does everything have to be hard? Everything I've done between now, being born, you know, with $6 coming to this country to be a senator was hard. I hit the hard button. Everything I did was hard, struggle, hustle. My hashtag was immigrant hustle. That was my hashtag for my campaign. And everyone thought it was so cute and whimsical. And then finally I had a coach who was like, why are you always in hustle mode? And I decided to hit the easy button, like that Staples commercial. I hit the easy button.
Keep one on my desk.
Right? And today, I was like, I don't feel like getting up to get my phone. Our friend Elisa decided to get up and bring me my phone. And I was like, yep, I hit the easy button. And somebody brought me my phone. And it was one of those things where it was like, yep, you just have to hit the easy button over and over again. And that is a mindset mentality shift in your brain.
Well, Mona, this has been great.
Yeah.
We talked, you mentioned a little about abundance. And I want to share an exercise that one of my coaches did with me that was so powerful. He called it Find Your Billions, because sometimes we live in this scarcity mode and we feel like we have no money or we don't have the stuff we need. And this exercise is you take a piece of paper or, you know, your computer, and you write down everything you have, whether it's your clothes, your furniture, your family, your spouse, your freedom, your opinions, your choice, everything you have. And then you put a value on what you would give it up for.
Wow.
And when you add that up, you're a billionaire. I think I had like, you know, 12.5 billion. It's like, we don't realize how abundant we are. You know, our cells, I mean, there's billions, but you know, freedom. Those of us in our country, we think about it, whereas other people don't have it. Well, they would pay for it, but that's so valuable. Our ability to make choices, our ability to make this TV show.
Yeah.
How much is that worth? So it's a really, you know, I love the idea of scarcity versus abundant. We are abundant. We're born abundant.
Yeah.
We're created as these perfect beings that have so much potential. And when we tap into that, we can do so much. So just wanted to end this session with that.
I love that.
So, but thank you, Mona, as always.
Of course.
I love having you on. I'm looking forward to this cruise.
Me
It'll be
too.
so excited.
Yeah.
Last year we were roommates.
Yeah.
This year you have your own room this year.
I do, yes. I'm in an abundant mindset. I hit the easy button.
But yes, and I have my other roommate will be coming after this commercial break. You'll get to meet the person I'm rooming with this year, and we're going to talk a little bit about launching careers, launching a ship, launching the new year. So
launching programs.
And launching programs. That's what she does. So we'll be here with Elisa in a little bit. But thank you so much. This is great. And we will be back after this word from our sponsor. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Journeys of Impact. We are about to embark on the cruise. It's Saturday. We're about to take off and walk over to the cruise, and wanted to finish this episode about journeys and launches and getting started. Some of the fellow people embarking on the cruise that you'll meet later are with us. So Shiraz, come and say hello.
Come and say hello, Shiraz.
That's Shiraz. We'll talk to him later this week. So, but yeah, I'm here with Elisa Bogart. Lisa and I are rooming together on the Marketers Cruise, and we're excited about this opportunity. We've already had a day and a half of networking, connecting, meeting amazing people, and we're getting ready to launch this journey of impact. You know, every journey starts with a launch, and every launch leads to another launch. So it's an ongoing process. This is our pre-voyage, pre-cruise launch. And like I said, we did a mastermind. We went to some parties last night. We had great breakfast today, and we're getting to know people here. And we've gotten to know about 30 people so far, and we've probably got another 400 to go. So I wanted to introduce Elisa. Elisa, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hey everybody, I'm Elisa Bogart. I am a launch strategist and fractional project manager. So I work with established coaches, and I help them to launch their online programs and events, and help them do it with ease because it can be a really stressful time, especially because it's, a lot of work to do on top of your normal day to day. And so I take all that kind of stress out with them. I provide them with a launch team so that they can, so we deal with all of the back end. So kind of think like strategy on an operational lens, think production, sales coach, and also the done for you tech, and of course, project management to help you out with everything to do for your launch.
That's awesome. I know I've talked to you about what I do with the done for you retreats. Elise is very similar. You do everything done for you, run for you, or launch, where you take all the details, all the stuff you don't know how to do, all the stuff you're not expert in, and she does all that for you, which is a really, really big help.
It's taking care of all the back end, because I really find that sometimes, because it can be so much work, that as the coach, you want to show up to your event where you're going to sell your products. You want to show up as your best self. You don't want to show up burnt out or stressed out because you've been working for months and months and months for this event, for this launch. And so it's really good to have a team to just really be there to support you so that you can be your best self, so you can deliver your best content and give so much value to the people coming to your events. And then they'll be more likely to want your program.
Oh, it's exactly like the retreats. Although I say, like, at a retreat, I have to deal, when you're up on stage, you're as a coach or a business owner, you don't want to have to deal with, a toilet overflowing or running out of toilet paper or the food not being there. Elise is the same way. You don't want to have to deal with Zoom not working or some program shutting down or people locked out. You need a team to take care of that during a launch.
Exactly. Actually, one of my clients, she actually had one of the team members with her, like in person at her home where she was doing, because it was online with Zoom, but she had somebody there. And it was so great because she had a microphone. At one point, her battery pack died. And so the person was there to help her just switch her out really quickly. And then her internet went down. And so we had the whole team there to make sure that the internet got, we kind of filled in for her while her internet came back up. And so it's just really good to have that supportive team with you. To kind of deal with because anything can happen. Maybe nothing will happen, but there could be stuff, and you just don't want to have to think about that. You want to know that you have a team that really has your back and is 100% supporting you on it.
Right, and you don't need to know everything. I mean, that's the thing. Why waste your time learning stuff that you don't love? That's not your area of expertise when someone else can do it for you.
Exactly, especially all that back end stuff. I know so many people, they don't come into business to do the back end, learn all the technology. They just want to coach. They want to do what they do best, and they want to be out there speaking and selling. So,
I love that. So, and this is it's January, which is a great time. So launch has so many meanings. We're going to be launching the ship, which I will turn the camera at the end so you can see our ship. It's right over there. We're about to walk to it. It's about half a mile away. But January is a big time for people to launch new plans, new businesses, new goals. So
new direction for the year.
Do you tell us about your January, your business, what are your goals, your new directions? I know you have a podcast and you're switching it up a little bit.
Yeah. I do have a podcast. It's called Authentically Elisa, and season 3 just started, and it's all about scaling on your terms. And so the idea of it is I want to bring in experts to come in to help people scale their business, but also talk about how we can do it still being our authentic selves. Because I believe that, as you're a business owner and you get into 6 figures, or if you're 6 figures, then you're multi-figure, 7-figure, you need to be a different business owner. You need to have more of a CEO level mindset. And so as your business changes and grows, and say you have a bigger team, how can you do all that and really still run the business your way, make sure it's aligned to your values and aligned to your mission and what you want to do. And so, my podcast is all about that, which is exciting. I'm super excited to interview people about that this year. And I really want to grow my team of launch teams and help more and more coaches launch their programs and take all that load off.
That's great. Yeah. And I love what you were talking about, how, as you have to be a different person to grow your business. And it's really cool because a lot of people there, if you don't love the stuff you need to do to grow your business, you're just not going to do it. Your unconscious mind is not going to do stuff 100%. You don't want to do.
Yeah.
So having someone who can do that for you, so that you can think differently, so that you can think bigger, so that you can really be as impactful as you want to, is so important.
Yes.
And change is just, your business has to change as it grows. And so many people get stuck because they don't want to change anything. It's like, I want to make more money, I want more clients, but I want to do everything the same.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work. That's just really difficult. So.
And I think a lot of it as well involves letting go. So as you grow, you need to be delegating more. You need to have team members. You need to, set them up for success, and then trust that they're going to do what they've been hired to do. And I think that can take a lot of time. I know that often, and as you grow, I think there's more and more that you need to let go and just kind of be that CEO and let the rest of the business kind of take care of itself. So, but with your direction and with your guidance, of course. But I think that's a big mindset shift as well. I know some of my clients, because as I help them scale, I see them in that transitional process,
Right.
and so I sometimes have to sit
delegate.
there. Yeah. And I have to be like, can I get your commitment that you're going to that you're going to teach somebody how to do that, because you shouldn't be doing anymore. You need to be focusing on these things. So
Yeah, it is a hard change to do, because your business is your baby, and but even as your baby, like I have a 21-year-old son, and I'm having to let go. Part of me is having to let go and another part of me is having to push out. And that's something your business does too. Like, sometimes it calls you back. You feel, I have to do this. It's like, no, you can push that stuff away. You don't have, even if it wants to stay. Sometimes you have to kick parts of your business to someone else, even if you feel like you have to do them.
Exactly. And actually, Shiraz, who just popped in earlier, talks about that, about how we have our zone of genius, and then we have our zone of excellence. And so especially as we're growing and scaling, we really need to step in that zone of excellence. So even for me too, I worked in software development when I was in corporate. So I know all the tech, I'm very tech savvy, but now that's part of my team. And so like I need to let go of that. Sure, I can jump in and build landing pages and automations, but is that really right for me?
Is that the best use of your time?
Exactly, because my zone of excellence is the strategy, the planning, and guiding people. So yes, we need to step into that. And again, that can be hard, because sometimes if it's your zone of genius and it's so easy, you like it, it's fun, right? So it's like, okay, can I step out of that? Where do I actually need to be in my excellence power?
Right. Yeah. No. That I try to think every morning is like, what is the best use of my resources today?
Yes.
And even if I like, I don't know, scrolling through Facebook, is that really the best use of my resources? Or if I like doing this, and sometimes you do want to do something that you love a little bit, and you can. I mean,
give yourself that 30 minutes,
a day or two. But really, you want to. If you really want to grow your business, you need to focus on the best use of your resources, and then hire people, delegate things to people where it's the best use of your resources.
Exactly. And that when you're launching a program, that's the same methodology, because again, like you have your business as usual, and usually you actually are coaching a program while you're probably launching the next one. It's maybe drilling down. You have multiple programs happening at the same time, and so when you want to launch something, it puts more work on top. So again, it's like, okay, so now my resources are even more sort of constrained, if you will. And so, what is the best use then? What really needs to get done, and what can I let other people do? Yeah,
that makes so much sense. So I love that. So there's lots of people going by on this path. If you hear noises, but it's a beautiful day. We wanted to be outside and share. We are in Long Beach. Long Beach is really cool. We're staying in this hotel, the Hotel Maya, and there's water all around us. There's a path. The Queen Mary and the Spruce Goose are right there, and then our ship, the Panorama, is right behind it. So we're excited. When we're finished this segment, we're going to walk down to the ship. And that's going to be really cool. And then we're going to probably take a few minutes when we get there and talk from our balcony and finish up. So before we break, so that we can walk to the ship and get on it, I did want to ask you, so what, we did the launch. You help people launch their programs, and we launched in January. And now we're going to be launching on the ship. What are your big plans? What are your big goals for the Marketers Cruise?
I'm super excited for it. My big thing for the Marketers Cruise is to build the relationships and to continue to build the relationships that I already have. Because there's lots of people on the ship that I do know and really want to strengthen those relationships and just have a lot of fun. I'm really excited to meet people and network, but also just have a lot of fun and enjoy the food and have a little bit of vacation with it. I love the thing about the cruise is that it's kind of half work, half play, and definitely get some beach time. I'm excited for some.
That's what I'm the same way. Fun, you know me, fun is what I love, and I think I love retreats because they're kind of vacation and work and transformation and growth. But I find in building relationships, like you can sit in a meeting and talk to someone and learn all about their business, and you know them a little bit. But when you go and like do a hike to a waterfall or a whale watching trip or something like that, you build the best relationships. You really do get to know people when you do those normal fun things, and you talk about business as you're walking, but that's when you get to know people and you remember them, and you get to, they become your friends, your people that you want to spend time with, and then they want to work with you.
Exactly. Yeah. And that really builds it and strengthens it. And it just, you get to know so much more about somebody than you would in any network meeting. And what I love about the Marketers Cruise is that it's really casual in that, so you can just be walking on the ship and you'll see somebody and be like, hey, that's the person that I really wanted to speak to. Hey, do you want to go grab a coffee? Do you want to go grab a slice of pizza? Or you just happen to, sit beside them on the bus on your way to wherever it is that you're going on your excursion, and you can just have a really lovely conversation. I remember last year I met a woman, she's actually in Vancouver. And so that's kind of how we connected. Then we sat beside each other on the bus, and then we've met up several times in Vancouver since, because that really kind of solidified the relationship for us. And and so now we're also like, okay, what in-person networking can we do in Vancouver? And now it's great. Now I got like an in-person networking buddy, in my local community, which I don't think I would have ever had if I hadn't met her on the ship. So.
Right. Yeah. No, same thing for me. Last year I met someone, and, we talked about working together. He actually coached me a little bit, and now we're thinking of doing like a joint program. And had we not had that time having breakfast together, walking together to a waterfall and getting to know each other, that would have never happened. That just doesn't happen without that face-to-face contact, and that really having fun and having adventures and doing things together. Yeah. Okay, well, we are going to pause right now for a word from our sponsors. Before we do, I am going to just let you see, hopefully this works, but you can see in the background people walking to the cruise. We've got the Queen Mary, our cruise ship there, the Spruce Goose. We're getting on the panorama, and we get to see a little bit of the city of Long Beach. So we are going to pause. Elisa and I will pick back up after this word from our sponsor once we are on the cruise ship. See you soon. As I go through life, I meet many people who are stuck, people who are unfulfilled, unhappy. They don't have control of their lives. They don't know how to live the life they desire. I wrote a book that will show you how to become empowered, how to live the life that you dream of, a life filled with joy. This book explores the intersection between trauma and being stuck. It embraces that you are empowered to live the life you desire. It'll help you get past that. It'll help you find joy. We all have the power to live the life we desire. We are worthy, we are capable, and we can do it. I was inspired to write this book because I met so many people who were stuck, people who didn't know how to get out of their own way. I was there myself. It wasn't easy, but now I'm living the life I'm happy with. I made the changes, and I'm empowered to take control of my own life. I can't control what happens to me, but I can control how I react to it. The world is a joyful place. It's full of opportunities and possibilities. This book will help you find that joy. This book includes stories of the heroes who live among us, people who have faced unimaginable tragedy, and they've got beyond it. And now they live a fulfilling life, a life full of joy, a life full of happiness, and they help others do the same. In this book, you will hear their stories, you will meet them, and you will learn from them. This book looks at what traits these people share. It looks at what enables them to get over the incredible obstacles they have faced. It looks at what helps them succeed. I also share my stories. One of the coolest stories was when I was in South Beach with my mother. I was staying at a very trendy hotel, and as we were going out for dinner, I just felt really subconscious. I didn't have anything to wear that would fit in this area. We decided to go to the bar and have a drink. As I'm sitting down there, I'm looking around at all the beautiful, trendy people around me. And suddenly I thought to myself, wait a minute, Lori, you're happy with who you are. Why do you care what they think? I suddenly felt better. I felt confident. I didn't care that I didn't look like them. I didn't have to look like them. And an amazing thing happened. I started talking to the bartender. I started talking to the people around them. I told them I'm an author and I'm taking notes for my book. Suddenly, I was the interesting person in the bar. They were asking me questions. I was the cool, trendy one. What an amazing change. You can make changes like this as well. My perspective on this book is unique because I have lived there. I have been in a place where I was unhappy. I was fired in a horrendous way, but I got past that. It inspired me. Today I am living the life I desire, but it hasn't always been that way, and it isn't easy. this book, you will laugh. Maybe you will cry. It'll bring out your emotions, but hopefully you'll learn something. Hopefully this book will teach you how to focus, how to change what you want to do, how to take control. In this book, I am sharing stories from my life and the life of others. These are stories full of hope, stories full of joy, stories full of love. My wish for this book is that it will inspire you, that it will inspire those who are unhappy and want to change their life, that it will inspire those who are stuck or those who are struggling. I want this book to help you get what you deserve. I want this book to help you live the life you dream of. You will love this book if you're thinking about a change. If you're thinking about a career change, maybe starting your own business. You will love this book if you're stuck. And you will love this book if you just want a little bit more. More happiness, more success, more fulfillment, more joy, even more love. My name is Lori McDowell, and I am the author of The Reinvention Mindset. Well, hello everyone. We are back. We are now aboard the Carnival Panorama. We're about to embark on a trip down and around Cabo up to inside the Mexican, I guess it's the Mexican Baja Peninsula. I don't know exactly what it's called. That sounds right. On the Pacific side, come into the Gulf of Mexico, and we're going to be stopping at Mazatlan, La Paz,
Cabo and Puerto
Vallarta. So I've been to Cabo many times. I've never been to Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, or La Paz. So I'm excited. Have you been to any of them?
I've been to Puerto Vallarta and Mazatlan. I don't think I've been to Cabo, and I definitely have not been to La Paz. So I'm very excited. So
it's exciting. Some new places. I've never been a cruise down the West Coast before. So this will be fun. And we are, like I said, we have the Marketers Cruise coming up. The next episode will all be about the Marketers Cruise. This one is really about visions, voyages, really kind of connecting with people, and before the launch, getting the connections. So
yeah, and it's kind of like just thought about the idea of embarking on something, right? So here we are, we just embark on the ship. We're about to embark on this amazing cruise. We're about to embark on this journey where we're going to be meeting all these people that could be amazing collaborations or clients for the year, and who knows where that could take us. I know last year was definitely amazing, the people that I met. And so, what are you embarking on? What does your 2026 look like? And
right.
Yeah,
it's great. You can embark every day. You can embark on the new day. You can launch, launch the new week. You can take a journey of impact to your backyard. It doesn't have to be a cruise or something amazing. You never know what kind of impact those little connections, little steps, little things that you do could make. You can end up meeting someone, at a Starbucks, and end up talking to them, and they could end up changing your life, or you could change their life. It could be a huge collaboration.
Yeah. Exactly.
We talked a little bit about teams earlier in this episode, and I flew here on Thursday night, and somehow my new website just launched, and I was moving the domain around, and somehow I lost email. I stopped getting email.
Yeah.
And here I am in Long Beach trying to figure this out, about to get on a cruise, when I realized I lost email, and I didn't know, what am I going to do? I don't want to be gone for a week without email. That could, who knows what that could be. That could be costly. That could be important. And I reached out to the people that were helping with my old website, my new website, and I have email again. They fixed it, and it was so exciting. So thank you, Chris, if you're there. I don't know if you're watching, but thank you. It was, that's the power of a team. If that was me, I would still be freaking out, and instead of enjoying the cruise and being able to go out and do the event, see what's going on, I'd be sitting on my computer trying to get on the phone with GoDaddy and figure that out.
some codes of something that you need from somewhere, who knows? And that's the beauty, is that you can just, when you have a team that supports you, those people know what they're doing, and they can fix it within an hour, where it might take you hours and hours to do the same thing.
It would have taken me all night. He had it done in 20 minutes.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And then in the meantime, while he was doing that, we were getting ready. We were doing this interview. We were walking to the ship, getting on, and then by the time we got on, it was done. And it was actually quite funny when all of a sudden you got emails, and it was like, now is that a blessing or a curse? Because I know that we need emails, but also sometimes we can get a little too many. So
that's so
it's
true.
nice to have a break,
true.
but you do know that good ones are gonna, or ones that are important for your business are gonna come through. So it's definitely important to have.
Definitely. So, but yes, well, you've got the beautiful seas behind us. I think you can see we're on the balcony of our room, and we're just both really excited. Another journey of impact. We've got this voyage coming, this embarking, launching something new. Preparing before the voyage, there's always the vision, there's the preparation, the expectations.
Exactly. Yeah, and I was just thinking about sort of end of December, early January, did lots of things about, okay, like what does 2026 look like, what is that vision, and also like who are we stepping into this new year. And I very much with my business want to take it to the next level, and so I've been sort of working on the last few weeks being like, okay, who is the entrepreneur that I'm showing up at this cruise with, because even though I want to take it to a certain level, I'm still embodying my future self now, because I know I want to make the connections, because relationships take time to build, and so by the time those relationships get there, I will be ready. And so I just think that that's kind of something that you can do when you think about what am I doing for this year, who am I going to be, where's my business going to go, and envisioning that and then stepping into that person is also a launch that you can do and an embarkation. So
I love that. Yeah, it's interesting, who am I going to be, and you think of who you are, and like I said, we talk about, the name of the show is Journeys of Impact, Extraordinary People, which we are, but you are too. Extraordinary Places, which this is, and you can find an extraordinary place everywhere. But the last part of it is extraordinary change too. And if I think back to a year ago on the Marketers Cruise, it was my first Marketers Cruise. I think it was your first one too.
Yeah.
And I can remember being here and being like very intimidated by people. They were like the business icons, the people who were really successful, and like, wow, how do they do that? And I was meeting a lot of them for the first time in person. And now it's kind of like, well, hey, how are you? I'm connected. I'm one of them. I'm comfortable. There's no icon. There's no one here that intimidates me anymore.
Right.
There's no one here that I'm like, oh, I don't fit in. I'm like, so 1 year could make that huge change. But until you do something like this, you don't realize that.
And I think it's also, sort of surrounding yourself by people who maybe are further along than you as well, because that really inspires you to make that change. And the people that you're surrounded by really are the people that you want to, who you want to, what's the phrase about that?
Yeah, something about like something about the 5 people, the 6 people you spend the most time with, or
exactly. So you want to spend those people, are going to like
you take on the characteristics of those people. So you want to surround yourself with extraordinary people who are doing incredible things.
Exactly, and you can also see, where they are, which can inspire you. So a couple of months ago, I went to this dinner in Vancouver, and it was a group of 30 entrepreneurs, and they were all local to Vancouver, and some of them were like multi-million, then or even like getting into the billions, and they were talking about like, oh, my business did 100 million last year, and I was just like, what? I think like it was incredible to be in a room of those people, and I was just so inspired. And I knew that there was obviously really successful people in Vancouver, but I hadn't actually been in a room of 30 of them, and they're all just telling their stories. And I just found it super inspiring. So so if you can be around those people, then you can see what your potential is and step into that. And who knows, they can also share some wisdom with you as to how they got to where they are.
Yeah, I love that. And the other thing when you're around those people is, we see these people and we put them on a pedestal, and we think they're like, oh, they're amazing. And the more you get to know them, it's like they're just like us. Yes. They're extraordinary, but they're ordinary. There's nothing. They have problems. They have issues. They have things that don't go well, and it's just they've learned that they expect that they don't limit themselves, and that's what we can learn from them. That just because if you're making $10 million and you're making $1,000, you still have the same problems in some ways. You're still going to have issues, but why limit yourself? So,
and even mindset issues as well, right? They say like another level, another devil, and there's always something to work through. Always something. Even anybody that pushes themselves past their comfort zone to get the next level, regardless of which level you're on, is a push and is stepping out of your comfort zone, and things are going to come up. And so, there's always something in the mindset to work on.
Exactly. Yeah, personal growth is definitely a journey. It's not you never get there, no matter how much, no matter how It's funny because sometimes you think powerful, there are people you say, oh, these people really need help. They're struggling, but it's like actually the more powerful you get, the more help you need, because then you have more problems and more things to get to the next level. So we're
Yeah,
all,
pressure.
we're all perfect, yet none of us are perfect. So we're all the perfect us, and we all have problems.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we fit this show in an hour, and they don't cut me off.
I know, we
and
could talk forever.
We could talk forever, but we will. We're going to go hopefully find a football game.
Yes.
The playoffs are on. I don't know, or maybe we'll find somewhere else. There's, like I said, the whole ship to explore, and 450 people as part of the Marketers Cruise, and hopefully you'll meet some of them in this next week's episode or 2 weeks from now. But until then, thank you, Elisa.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you all for watching, and remember, go out there. You are extraordinary. You can do extraordinary things, extraordinary places, extraordinary change, and go out there and live your journey of impact. Have an amazing week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
As this journey comes to a close, remember, impact isn't found in grand gestures alone. It lives in the conversations we start, the connections we make, and the courage we choose along the way. Today's episode is proof that extraordinary people can create extraordinary change in extraordinary places. And often, it starts closer to home than we ever imagined. So wherever your journey takes you next, lead with purpose, stay curious, and don't underestimate the power of one bold step or one meaningful ripple. If you loved what you heard, please take a moment to like, share, and follow. It's the best way to stay connected and be the first to know when new episodes drop. Until next time, keep moving forward because the world is waiting for what you bring to it.